Hi everyone,
Even
welcome to the Philly Boots Rugby Roundtable. My name's Sean. Thanks for joining us once again, and again, once again, we are going to chat to Croydon Rugby Club and find out a bit more about them and where they are at the moment and what the future holds. So thanks for watching. We'll get the guys to introduce themselves from the top. So Yorkie. Introduce yourself. Let us know what you do within Croydon Rugby Club.
Yeah, hi, Yorkie. I am a chairman and first team hooker at the club. So I've been chairman for the last couple of years. And yeah, that's it. General dog's body as well.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us, Jack.
Right, Jack. I'm Croydon's first team captain. Been playing this since I was about 12.
Brilliant. Craig?
Yeah, I've been at the club for quite a while, even though these guys like to refute that and say that I'm not a junior, but I was. What do? I do all the social media and I do all the hall bookings, barman, lodger, you name it, I've done it.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for giving up your time. And JC?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm JC. So I've been playing prop for Croydon for a bit now, and I'm the junior chairman. So trying to create a bit of dynamic for the junior sections.
Brilliant, excellent. Thanks for joining us today. So we'll start with Mike. We'll start with Yorkie, the chairman. Tell us a little bit about Croydon, how the last few years have been, just give us a bit of background.
Yeah, so we've feel like we're on the up the last couple of years. When the four of us kind of got more involved in the committee and being involved in stuff, we kind of came from a place where the club was really struggling, kind of within 24 hours of going under, really. And as a result, that because we were in a tough time, we had a couple of seasons where we didn't win a single game, which was a challenge, keeping players and keeping people motivated and involved. But we managed to turn things around. We're kind of, up until COVID, relatively financially stable. We managed to win quite a few games last season and won the league. I'm sure Jack will want to kind of expand on that and talk about his players. But we've kind of had kind of really big events happen. Kind of this year, we were chosen by NatWest Rugby Force to kind of receive some gifts from some high-profile people. So we had Haskell, Hartley, and Alfonsi come down, and they made us a bench each, which was incredible.
Nice.
To have them down, socially distanced during the summer for the NatWest Rugby Force Day, and then kind of we're just now kind of getting involved and building a relationship with the Matt Ratana Foundation.
We'll come on to that. We'll definitely come on to that.
Yeah.
Jesse, let us know about the junior section that you've got going on down there.
Yeah, as Yorkie was saying, a few years ago, I think the club was struggling a bit, and I mean, I played for Croydon a few years back, and in between my daughter, and obviously that's the best way to go back to rugby is to try to push the youngsters to join the club, and so you've got a good excuse to spend a lot of time at the club. So yeah, basically knowing that the junior sections weren't really running anymore for different reasons, and I thought that maybe it would be a good thing for me to get involved in. So we started with minis really. So 3, 4, 5 years old kids, and the club has been really good to support me in that, and we managed to get the first year few families coming every Sundays. And the following year it was a bit more, and this year it's even more. So now we've got a group of about 15, 20 kids coming every Sunday mornings, and that's amazing to see that developing. So I think the minis now, the mini sections are running well, and obviously we are always really keen to develop that further. But yeah, that's for me. That's the most important for a club to have your minis and your junior sections running, because that's really the heart of the club, and that's how you survive.
Definitely.
But
Jack,
yeah, yeah.
no, I was just to say, Jack, give us a rundown of your group of players.
Yeah, I mean, so we got a new head coach last year, which gave us a lot more direction, a lot more structure to our game. The boys seemed a lot more interested in the training because obviously each session is structured. There's something to aim for. He's an ex-player, so he used to play when he was a youngster, and a bit of a club legend. So I think he's got a lot of respect from the lads.
Definitely.
And he just brings the best out of everyone. I mean, all the players here, like JC, Yorkie, really up their game. Myself, all the players in the team. We become more of a team, and we started playing better rugby together. And then, like Yorkie said, we won the league, got promotion. We was aiming to, aim higher this year, but obviously because of COVID, we couldn't. But we're all looking forward to getting back playing.
We are still unbeaten this
Craig,
season. Don't forget that.
You're still unbeaten. Everyone's, yeah. Craig, give us a bit of background on yourself and the impact that social media has had on the club.
Yeah, I mean, I took over that a few years ago. We didn't have a massive social media presence. We still don't, but it looks nicer than it did. I think we had an old Instagram and an old Facebook, got a few bits up, made some pretty pictures, helped support JC with the juniors and flyers and recruitment drives and stuff like that. It has made a difference. We've definitely had more players come down because they've seen our online presence. So they're players that we wouldn't have got before. And that's, as you know, tough to come by new players at the moment or even before COVID. So it's made a difference.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Craig's work is definitely helpful. I mean, especially recruitment, that's the key thing for us. And to Craig's work on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it's definitely a help for us.
Yorkie, what is the recruitment process that you guys have down at Croydon?
Throw everything and see what we can make stick. So, I mean, largely at the point, the last few years when we were kind of really struggling, it was about bringing down people that we knew and those contacts. And, some of our back three were a couple of friends of Jack's that he knew through work. Footballers previously wanted to come down and get involved, and they're now kind of regular first team players and really developed. As Craig said, using social media, using those connections, and just kind of making a presence so that when people think of rugby, they are thinking of us and not the huge amount of other clubs that are obviously in the area and want to come down and see what we're doing and be involved in that. And then leaflets and advertising in local shops, getting out and doing kind of local fetes, fairs, pre-COVID, obviously. And just kind of, trying every channel we can. But we're kind of really keen to launch, a women's team, keep expanding the juniors. One of the kind of guys that's, broke through and is breaking or would have been breaking through into the first team more regularly this season was one of the dads that came down to JC's juniors days. And he's got involved in volunteering. His wife has, and they've both done kind of huge amounts. And it's about that kind of attraction, people coming down, experiencing what we've got to offer and wanting to be more involved and bring more people into that.
Definitely. So what is your sort of volunteer? How many volunteers do you have? Do you need roles filling?
Volunteers, I think is getting more and more difficult every year. And I don't think that's something that's just for us. We also, the club hosts a table tennis team as well, which are all volunteer led. And they struggle for volunteers. We struggle every year, but we've got a strong committee that's been around for a long time, and we've got a couple of really core volunteers that get involved more. And as I said, we've probably had more volunteers this last year than we've had the last few. But positions on the committee, we don't have an awful lot of our kind of ex-players The kind of older gents that used to play. That time when it was tough, the club didn't look after them, didn't communicate well enough with them.
Right.
And those relationships are something that we're really keen to build with them. They built the club, they're the history of the club, and we want them involved. And that's something that we're kind of looking to approach and build to get them involved. And, we know that they're passionate about the club and about where it goes, and how they can get involved in doing that is something we're really keen to kind of explore more of as we move forward.
Sounds good. Jack, how was lockdown for the team? How much training did you get in? How many people did you get down at the session?
Obviously, it was tough for everyone not getting any rugby fix at all during the first lockdown. We tried to keep in contact with each other. There's a few social media things we've done where we'd do a boat race, so everyone would down a pint as quick as they can. So we kind of kept the social side going. And then as soon as we come out of lockdown, all the boys come straight back down to training. Clear to see that everyone had been missing it. I mean, a few a bit heavier than they were before lockdown. But, we really, really had a strong pre-season and everyone was raring to go. And then obviously we went into another lockdown, unfortunately, just before we was about to play our first game. And then we come out of the last lockdown, played the week before Christmas, and everyone loved it. Everyone loved running around again, their hands on the rugby ball. And we come away with a win. So, we're undefeated this year.
Good stuff. JC, has there been, how do I put it? Have you noticed any people not coming back to the mini and junior sessions because of the pandemic or for any other reasons?
Well,
or is everyone chomping at the bit?
No, we're building our junior sections, and I guess we can talk about that a bit later as well. So I guess for the teenagers it was a bit more difficult to keep the focus on rugby. So we certainly suffer a bit of that, but hopefully we'll be able to give a big push in the coming months regarding junior sections. Regarding the minis, the families were so desperate to get the kids back to rugby. They were so thankful for it. I remember after the first lockdown, the family coming back and the parents saying thank you for getting back running, because they need to go out, they need to run around, and we need them to be a bit tired at the end of the day. So again, from the in the mini sections, great support from the parents, and it was great to see. And we got actually an increase in kids coming just after lockdown. So that was definitely good to see. And obviously we keep the communication open with them through WhatsApps and everything. And they are so supportive. It's great to have them with us.
Brilliant. Craig, how were the club sort of kept engaged over the lockdown periods?
Well, as you can imagine, the WhatsApp probably was used way more than it ever has been before. And we used to have a banter group and an info group, and we got rid of one. We've only got the info group now, but it's definitely not just information in there. There's all sorts of stuff over lockdown. Very early on, we reached out as a club, community club in Croydon, with deep roots there. We reached out to people that might need help and stuff like that. In fact, we did actually have someone who never played for Croydon, but played rugby and understood the rugby world and what that meant, and contacted us to get his mum some help. Needed a plumber. She was local to us. He was nowhere near. And we got a plumber in about half an hour flat, I think. So power of social media again, and the rugby community. So yeah, we did a lot of stuff like that. Little brainchild of Yorkie was a call to rugby when we had a bit of a return to rugby. We had our coach Louis blow a Viking horn, and then everybody at home could hear the horn. The little clips of everyone running to the pitch that we put out. That was quite a good one.
Brilliant.
Sounds good. Occasionally have some good ideas, Craig.
Well, someone smarter has to put it all together, though, don't they?
Yeah.
So Yorkie, you touched on it before. The club was struggling a couple of years ago. How is everything now compared to then? And was lockdown and sort of the whole pandemic thing a struggle for the club?
Touch wood, it's not been too bad till now. We managed to get kind of some support from local council at the start of lockdown, which has seen us through up to now. We rent the pitch and the clubhouse, and we landlord graciously agreed to give us kind of rent free for the second half of the year, which has kind of meant that the lack of functions and so on hasn't impacted us too badly. The boys have all still paid their subs, and we've kind of had that bit of money coming in. We were saving before lockdown to kind of have the next stage of our renovations done. We've recently had the bar area and the toilets done. It was about time we renovated something for the players, and we were going to get the showers and stuff done because there's no club in the world I think that kind of is really proud of their showers for long 6 months. So that'd have been nice to give something back to the boys, but some of that money's had to go back into keeping us where we are. The next few months will be interesting, obviously, with going back into Tier 4, rent being due again from January. Depending on negotiation with our landlord, that we might have to kind of try and get a bit creative with raising some funds and how we can do that. But at this moment in time, I think, compared to others, we're in a relatively good position. And, just as I said, next few months might be more of a challenging, and that's the same for everybody, the uncertainty of what things look like, given that, 4 weeks ago we were kind of getting back to playing and everything looked like change and things were opening back up, and now everything's locking back down, tier by tier. Interesting to see what Tier 5 will bring, I think.
Yeah, can't imagine that's going to be long either. Okay, what have we got written here? Jack, on the players' side, we've asked this question to everyone we've spoken to recently. Players at the start of lockdown, were any players sort of hesitant about returning, or maybe a bit apprehensive about playing again because of the whole COVID thing? What's that like now? Have people just decided, no, we're ready to go? Absence has made the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, definitely. I think when we first come out of lockdown, I would say there was loads of players. There was a few players, especially if they've got like vulnerable family members, that wanted to stay away for a little bit longer. But to be honest, I think the majority come back pretty much straight away. And then as soon as we can train again, I think everyone will be back to it as soon as they can. Like you say, chomping at the bit to get there. I know I definitely will be. I mean, I could probably easily go and just kick a rugby ball around every day if I could. I could do with the practice, but no, I think everyone will come back, and we just want to get the season going. Obviously, leagues obviously have been cancelled and stuff, but this Surrey RFU have put us in this cup instead, which would be lovely.
Do you think that'll happen? Do you think that'll happen realistically?
I did when we went back to playing 2 weeks ago, and now I was speaking to one of the fellow players today, and we both probably agreed that that's not going to happen, likely to happen. But even if we get a few friendlies in at some point this year, and then get a good pre-season in and ready for the next season. Yeah.
We all know there's no such thing as a friendly, really. Every game is competitive, isn't it? And I think, as Jack said, I think we all just want to play for the love of the game. You want to get out there and with, kind of 29 other blokes and kind of just do something that we all love doing. And I think that kind of everyone's keen to do that as safely and securely as we can, but just to get out there and play some rugby.
So how was that first game before Christmas?
Heaven. No, it really was. I mean, obviously it's slightly different laws with no scrums and no mauls. But to be honest, it didn't slow the game down at all. In fact, I think it sped it up, especially for some of the heavier players not having to push in the scrum. They definitely showed how much energy they must use pushing in the scrum because they made some storming runs. So, but yeah, and then to come away with the win as well was obviously really good. And we did look rusty, to be fair, considering it had been quite a bit of time since we played. The hands were good. I mean, it was wet conditions and things, so no, it was nice.
Anyone else playing that game?
No, it wasn't available that day. It wasn't available. I was gutted, but I was driving up the M1 to meet my mum and in a car park in Peterborough to exchange gifts before Tier 4 started.
Oh,
no scrum. Honestly, what's the point playing rugby if there is no scrum? Really?
I don't want to go back to allowed to shower again with each other. That's all I'm missing.
But is it that camaraderie thing? You know, that thing of being in a changing room and being in the showers together, and is that something you've missed? Because I know, you know, from my experience, I have massively. It's, you know, but it's my Saturday afternoon is sort of the place you get a bit of solace, and you know, it's been terrible for a lot of people. Have you guys found it? Have you missed it? How much have you missed it?
In my case, I've not been down for a while because I had a baby, and that stopped. You know, that puts the brakes on sometimes, and ended up not going down for a bit. And I've absolutely missed those moments, not just the training part, but the bits before and after where you're catching up and having a chat and everything like that. All of the banter and everything. That's definitely something I've missed.
Yeah, I think especially with our good results last season, we started creating something, and having this new coach coming, you know, and showing us the motivation that we needed to play together. We started something last season. It was just a bit painful not to be able to carry on as well as this season because of COVID. So that's what I miss. You know, getting all together really tight in the changing room before a game, and saying, "Yeah, we're gonna trash them again," and that's what I miss.
Yeah, I think we've all really missed it. It's been those opportunities where making the most of those opportunities where we have been able to see each other in kind of within guidelines and so on. So you know, the training and making the most of that time we've got together. The NatWest Rugby Force Day was kind of real good energy about, and everybody's kind of excited, and you know, a bit of a, you know, Mickey taking the banter as Craig says, and kind of just having those times has been really important, and it would have been so much more difficult, I think, for, you know, people's mental health and so on to not have had something through the summer. Would have been a real challenge for some people, and it's about making sure that the WhatsApp group and stuff, when we are keeping in contact and looking after each other that way as well, really important for everybody, I think.
Definitely. So this you touched on it at the beginning, Yorkie. The Matt Ratana Foundation came about after the tragic events earlier in the year, and they've selected you guys as being one of the first recipients of a grant. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that come about, and what is it going to involve?
So, I mean, we're incredibly proud to be involved, and you know, none of us knew Matt personally, but from what we've seen from the people around him and what they've been inspired to do, just is testament to him, and you know, the values that he held personally and that mirror those across rugby. Something that we're kind of really keen to do, and as you know, JC said, and I'll let him expand in a moment more on it. Is, you know, we're really keen to build our reach with juniors and minis, and you know, further out into the community of what we can do, and the work that Craig mentioned earlier of kind of touching communities, and what we've been able to do is expanding that, and that will help the future of the club. It will do that, and you know, build the club and expand. But it's about just bringing more of that community back together, which I think is needed now more than ever, and is what the foundation's looking to do, and to provide that for people. JC's got more of the details around what we're going to do. I'll pass to him.
Yeah, no, as Yorkie and as we discussed before, I mean, so we all right with the minis at the moment, and we need to work on our juniors. And so the foundation contacted us initially through emails, and the first call we had with them straight away, we had the same kind of ideas. I mean, we were talking about recruiting earlier, and it's harder and harder, and especially in our area where we are, there are a lot of competitions, a lot of clubs around us, and it's quite difficult to get new guys. And basically, what we found out was, so the foundation would help us recruit young guys, and in our catchment area, which is really New Addington. And what they really liked with us is, like, New Addington is not the richest part of London, of Croydon, and that's really what our targets. We want to get these young lads out of the street and having a focus and building their life around rugby, and having rugby as a support to do right things. And I mean, I've never been in trouble or anything, but that's what I loved rugby when I was a teenager. You know, this sport just gives you so much values. And good values, and that's exactly where we landed so closely with the foundation, because we have exactly the same kind of ideas. We want to get the young lads from New Addington, instead of doing nothing of their days, and come and play with us and create something around that. And that's so the motto of the foundation. I think that's really what Matt was about as well. In his club, so that's why we think that it's a perfect fit with us.
Just to put a bit of flavour on what that's going to look like for us over 2021. So obviously, COVID restrictions might affect this, but we're looking at phase one. They'll be looking at helping us with some coaching sessions, reaching out to local schools, using a lot of Matt's contacts and stuff like that with the police as well. To try and get us not just boys but girls as well, all kids involved in the club, and then phase two, looking at a charity match, hopefully in August, bank holiday in August, with like a celebrity team versus the police, so men's match and a women's match.
Yeah, I'm actually playing in that.
Oh, there you go.
I'll be part of that.
Not the celebrity side, surely.
Yeah, apparently they came to me a few weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, look, I'm available," jokingly, and they said, "Oh, yeah, come and play." On that, the team are actually looking for shirt sponsors. If anyone is out here, get in contact with us, because they are looking for a shirt sponsor for that game. And I've seen the list of players that are playing for the Celebrity 15, and you should get your company involved. So if you see that, get in touch with us, and we'll pass it on to the guys that are organising that. But yeah, that's going to be a hell of an occasion. So what happens then? Once you know, sort of the initial phases happen, what does the rest of sort of the work look like?
Yeah, I think what the foundation wants us to do is really to structure our junior sections, and helping us with that, and having 2, 3, 4 sections ready. Especially with COVID, obviously, it's going to take maybe a bit longer than usual. But yeah, I hope that by the end of this year or next year, we will have a proper junior section running with their help, and they will definitely help with that.
Right, so that long term, isn't it? The long term kind of value in building that. So not just recruiting the kids, but having the coaches there for that structure to keep them kind of coming back year on year. You know, we've got players like Jack and reportedly Craig, although as he said, it's disputed whether he was a junior or not, that have come through the club and are now involved and kind of built up into, what the first team is now, is people that's been involved. And you've got outsiders like me that moved from up north down and just invaded the club. But it's about that kind of longevity of that. Yeah. From being kind of young juniors or minis into older, and kind of taking those values in, because we all play. We all know, the values that you take into your personal and professional career and what that means and difference it can make to people is huge. So not only for the club but for the individuals that we hope to help as well.
Definitely, junior sections are the backbone of any clubs, and once we've got that sorted, then that's a club in a good shape again.
Yeah, you'll be thriving in no time. I have no doubt about that. Great club. So finally, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So finally, we asked everyone this. We'll go to each of you, but one hope and one fear for the grassroots game or the club in 2021. Anyone want to take that one on first? But we'll go around the table, obviously.
My hope is that we get to play some rugby, and then just swapping that round is my fear is that we won't get to play any rugby until September.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, been watching a few documentaries recently. My hope would be that the game continues to expand its reach. I think, especially into kind of communities where it might not necessarily have been popular before. Rugby is a sport for everyone, and I really hope that it can build upon that. My fear would be for the game itself is that kind of reducing number of volunteers and people willing to put time in. I think it could be a real struggle for grassroots clubs going forward.
Definitely.
From my point of view, what I kind of hope for really is, that as Jack kind of mentioned, that the game comes back to life for us, and COVID doesn't know what date it is. We're right on the edge of it being a new year. It doesn't mean anything to COVID and a pandemic, but we can still have a good new year whenever that is, whether it's in March or May, and actually make sure that the Matt Ratana Foundation, that those things get instilled in the club. My fear probably is I'm no longer a back. I'm probably a forward now.
You've never been a forward. You will never be a forward, Craig.
And actually, I'm just too pretty for it, Sean. And I can't be doing it. And I'm glad that the laws have changed. I don't have to get involved in too many rucks or anything like that.
Finally.
All right. Well, I think I'll start with my fear. My biggest fear is that these no scrum malarkeys last too long. That's the only thing I can play nowadays in rugby. So I want the scrum to come back as soon as possible. No, I hope so much hope with this work with the foundation that we started. Obviously, if we can set up a team of juniors, and obviously we can't play any competitions, but if we can just by the end of this season play a friendly and have 15 of our guys, our juniors, playing against a local team, that would be amazing. And obviously having the foundation behind us and giving this, giving that back to them and say thank you so much. That would be such a good result. So yeah, so that would be the hope for this season for sure.
Another hope. I hope JC gets his long away try for Croydon soon.
Have you not scored yet? You've not scored yet. How long has it been?
Oh God. Well, yeah, no. Right. Next subject. Next subject. No, I don't even remember because I stopped playing rugby for a while. So I think. So yeah, I don't even remember last time I scored, to be honest.
It might never have happened.
Well, gents, that's a perfect way to end. I wish you all the best of luck. If there's anything we can do to help push anything forward, just give us a shout. I'm more than happy to post things and share things and get your messages out there. So, Yorkie, Jack, Craig, JC, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everyone watching or listening. Don't forget to go to rugbystore.co.uk, use the promo code FYBpod for 10% off anything online. Thank you very much. We'll catch you down the road. Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.